So, first question for Eamon, is there any tickets available for the marathon?
No, you can't drop down from the full to the half.
All jokes aside, we have very close contact with Eamon all through the year, and like, I'm in another chat group with Eamon as well, all about the Cork City Marathon, and like what you get all year round and queries all year round is off the scales. But maybe just talk us through, since last year, has there been any changes this year? What's the big talk with this year's marathon now?
I suppose the big thing this year is obviously the popularity of the event, selling out so early in January. It's a brilliant thing for the race, but it has created a pile of extra work that we didn't have last year, if you know what I mean. So last year we kind of sold out, I'd say, a couple of weeks before the end. So the amount of admin work has just skyrocketed, you know. So myself, Dave, and Alex now as well, so we're flat out the whole time, you know. So look, it's very exciting. We have great plans to build the event going forward, and we're at a bit of a crossroads, and you know, we have lots of plans for the following year, building the race, building capacity, and stuff like that. So.
And maybe just to ask, because again it's the obvious question that people do ask us as well, is like, why can't the numbers be bigger?
Yeah, look, the main thing for the full and a half is the medical capacity, you know. So that's kind of set to us by the chief medical officer, and the amount of ambulances that we have available to us. So we're seeing it over the last couple of years, an increase in the amount of people that need attention in the tent. And you know, bizarrely, the half marathon has that has increased the amount of people that need medical attention from the half marathon. So it's just a matter of building capacity, few tweaks that we're talking about for going forward from next year, trying to get in some extra support, and hopefully increasing the capacity in the full half.
Just take us through the race weekend. So kicking off on a Friday, is it?
Yeah, it's kicking off on Friday. So the expo starts at 12 midday on the Friday, 12 until 7, and then on Saturday from 11 until 6. So we've got huge interest in from exhibitors and stuff, and from charities this year. So hopefully, that's looking like a really big event this year. So again, that's very important to the race, that the expo kind of grows in size as well, and we'll have a few good people on stage and stuff on the Saturday. So yeah, it's all really positive this year.
Okay, and then on Sunday, the times for kicking off, again, I know people will know this because they'll have to throw it out there now.
Yeah, it's 8:15 for the full marathon, 8:45 then for the 10k, and 10:15 for
and road closures, everything in place, there's parking, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff you'll be able to see on the website shortly. We're just finalising bits and pieces of that. So again, a race programme will go out to everybody on the Tuesday before the race, and we'll have all the road closures and all that kind of stuff on the website as well.
Perfect. Anyone got any questions for Eamon? Fire away again, don't be shy. Throw them out there. So again, just Eamon is the race sector. We're going to jump quickly the course measure to kind of go through mile by mile. Marion, wealth of experience. Alex, wealth of experience. So that's what's coming up. And again, just for Conor, as a question over.
Yeah.
I've
run the full twice, and both times I suffered really badly with the heat. Do you know if there's anything that participants can do to mitigate heat?
Yeah, we'll be hearing from Alex, who's no one better in Ireland to talk about heat or cold. Look, from my own perspective, from running marathons and stuff like that, pre-hydration in the lead up to the race is the best thing that you can do. Try to cool down during the race. But if it's really hot, and especially if you're first time marathon runners, just concentrate on getting around. If you look at the likes of the elites like Pavel, when he was in 2023, he was maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes slower than he was in 22 when he was second or third, and he won in 23. So if an elite is going to be 3 or 4 minutes slower than an ordinary runner, you can multiply that out, So if it is hot, and again, a lot of it is down to your training. How has your training gone? If you're training for a sub-3 marathon or something like that, your training would really want to be bang on, and if it hasn't, then adjust accordingly. And the key thing is if you're in the middle of the race and then all of a sudden you're just dropping off, just readjust your goal. There's no point in killing yourself either. There's another day, do you know what I mean? And you'll see really experienced athletes, and I've made every mistake possible in marathons, and even probably, and I still will. Your brain kind of goes grind, but if you can't do a PB every day. It'll depend on your training, how you feel on the day. You'll know maybe halfway into the race, 16, 17, 18 miles. And you just have to adjust if it's not going right. The main thing is to hit the finish line in one piece. There's no point in doing yourself long-term damage, because you can get back in gear again and do another marathon in a month's time if you haven't damaged yourself.
I think the answer there, you're going to sort the weather for everybody, is it?
Yeah. Trying to overcast day.
Drizzle.
Was that 2015 or 2016? It was like a
there was one year. It was unbelievably cold. I don't know what year it was. Probably 2015.
15, I think.
Just absolutely free.
Just on the water situation, and again, I know that's your second favourite topic after Guinness. Is there entry available for the marathon? Obviously, it's been a big topic. I know from talking to you, you've doubled and tripled the water every year, but it's bottles, cups. That's another question we get regularly.
Yeah. So look, we have, I suppose, more bottles than we had in 2023. So we've 10,000 more than we had last year. We had enough last year, but we've decided to bump it up again. They're 250ml bottles at every station. Then in the finish line, it's refill cups. And I suppose it's I know it's a small not towards the environment. We have to green it some way. We're coming under a bit of pressure there, but it is health and safety comes first, and the 250ml bottles. Really, I'm very strong on that's the best we can do. There's Lucas stations then as well. 3 or 4 of them. You see it on the somewhere. Yeah, on the map there.
I think question here, yeah.
Why do you think the number has jumped? So, you saw about so much earlier this year than last year, and is there any particular age category, men versus women, that you've seen numbers spike? I don't know if you've looked at that kind of data.
Yeah.
She likes that, sorry. I know, because I see a lot more girls in their 20s. There's so many more run clubs and stuff. There was a bus down to the Kinsale 10 miles full of girls. I was just wondering.
I have a theory, but I have no idea whether it's true or not. I think there's a lot of people play team sports when they're young, and they get to a certain stage and they kind of realise that they're not going to play for Liverpool or they're going to play for Cork or Limerick, and they look at other sports, and I think running has become so open and available for everyone. And look, you don't need a pile of money to do it. You start off, it will cost you fortune eventually. You go mad on it, but it's a very, very, very inclusive sport, and I think people are realising that. I think during COVID, it was probably the only thing that people could do, and I think there was a cohort of people that were kind of around 20 mark, that had very little. I think COVID hit that age group very hard, and I think a lot of them kind of took up running because it was a way to get out or whatever, and they've kept it up. And I think there just is a move away from team sports at that early 20s towards gym and running and all these different other things. So that's what I think, and Irish, of course. Yeah, like we've done it. I mean, we have done a lot as well to try to promote running in all very different groups, and our connection with She Races, as well. Like, we're trying to promote running for women. We're trying to promote running for everyone in society, and there's little bits and pieces that we can do to help that. So that's something, I suppose, like every race is different. People do different things. What we try to do is give back to the community, and that's what we're trying to do anyway.
Any more questions for Eamon? One more, she'll go out.
Just in terms of the pre-race hydration there, like that was something like probably didn't do enough last year, like kind of suffer small, but like would you have any tips for the strategy for pre-race?
Yeah, I think we're a great man to talk about the whole fuel and hydration and just the weather as well and things about absolute expert. We'll bring Alex up in a minute and maybe get into that a bit more. Alright, Alex? Yeah.
So you say you're big on sustainability and stuff like that. So when the race is over and you, for example, have those water bottles left over, what do you do with them?
So the water bottles, we brought charities on board to collect the water bottles, and they bring it to return. We had return truck last year. Like all the bottles get recycled. Like what we like to do is to try to promote charities and stuff like that to operate the water stations, and they can keep the bottles and get the money back themselves. So we're not interested in getting the money from the bottles back. To be honest, I mean the return charges cost the race about somewhere between 10 and 15 grand, So you just have to accept it, and there's other things that the costs rising in the race all the time. But we kind of see that as an opportunity that bring in charities. We have a good few charities on board this year, and the Rainbow Club being kind of the biggest one, are going to take a couple of water stations from us, and then they can recycle the bottles. So it works on both ways. If you saw last year, the clean-up operation was probably the easiest or cleansing department we've ever had, because the bottles were just disappearing everywhere. So the return scheme has helped a lot. Like there was the cartons before, and that was kind of put out there as being the most sustainable. It actually isn't. There's various different components to that can't be recycled in Ireland. So plastic bottles, other than the water in a cup. That is the next closest sustainable thing. So it's not ideal, I suppose, but like you're talking about a marathon in the summer, I think it is important that people have the bottle to carry around with them,
I actually remember last year, I think it was Ballybehan or Turner's Cross, there was loads of kids picking up the bottles and just picking up the bags. They used to get a fortune off it, I'd say.
Yeah, there was a girl at work actually said her neighbour made 50 quid out of it, young fella.
That's good business.
Any more questions for Eamon? Frances?
The medal this year, is it metal? You're not going back on the wood?
No.
You got enough abuse on that one.
Timbers for Hurleys.
Maybe just explain the medal then, obviously.
So the medal this year, it's the three medals obviously. So the main medal is, the marathon medal is Blackrock Castle. The half marathon medal is Blarney Castle, and the 10k is the Shaky Bridge, because Dave loves the Shaky Bridge.
Anyone else? Fair and well. Okay, anything you want to, words of wisdom before you depart? We can get you back up again, of course.
Thanks everyone for supporting the race. We try to do our best. We work really, really hard on it. It's probably the first thing we think about in the morning, last thing we think about at night. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Dave and Alex Looney, that has joined the team there recently. We enjoy it. It's very pressurised, fair enough, when it gets closer to the race, but and it's much better fun to run it. But
your running career is over, I think, isn't it?
Well, if you look at my finishing time to Dublin, that kind of talks for itself.
Eamon, thanks a minute. We'll get you back up again.